Yes, you. There's a kitty down here. Hey, I need to stand there and record this video. It's part 2. Hey. Hey. Uppy. 1 second. Okay, channel mascot. I promised you a skill tree. Let's part 2 of this stuff. See you soon. Hello there, everybody. Welcome on back to Standing Up with Soul Raider. This is part 2. If you missed part 1 about what scaffolding kind of is as a theory a little bit, go back to the previous video that I kind of made a tiny announcement. We're going to go through on in and look at how I skill tree my goals sometimes, okay? Now, some of my friends here who are part of my mentor Sarra Cannon's HB90 system, you're going to be like, hey, this kind of semi looks familiar. Because Sarah knows her pedagogy. Come closer. Now, wait a minute. Chill. Brighten me up a little bit. Okay. So, life just got way interesting on me because, bam, it's happening. I had hoped to have worked in this office for at least another year before I had to consider moving. That's not happening. Anywho, so as you can tell, I kind of have what I'm calling my orchards 4 goals. You really shouldn't do more than 3, Sarah. You're totally right because human brain and what it can handle, but my 3rd goal is now a work on it whenever I have time goal. Because moving in life is only going to take up part of the quarter. You see what I mean? So, I do have 4-ish goals, but it's more like I have 2 full goals and then a half credit and a half credit, if that makes sense, if you're applying like college credits or high school course credits to it, right? Hence why it's half. This orchard's smaller. So inside each orchard then I have a tree, right? Books 1 through 5 is the priority under my books category for a reason. It needs to be done first. 1 and 2 have been sent out for file updates where appropriate. We're fighting tech gremlins. And then 3 should be sent off by the end of this month, followed by 4 and 5. By the end of the year, this is my main goal. These are all the next year. I like to do my publishing track in a full year to kind of keep my mind on track of where am I headed for like advertising campaigns and stuff like that when they come up for marketing. More about that later. But I know I'm going to be focusing in here. This is the tree I want to put branches on. So what I'm going to actually do, because we're now moving, I'm going to be transferring all of this digital. I've been saying for 2 years, it is about time I consider taking all of my planning and tracking as digital as possible. I tried it once before, circa 2022, right before we moved the first time. It's time to actually follow through with it. It's time to actually put my foot in my mouth where the money is and own up that I could be tracking this a lot way better. So I really ended up just using this board for kind of drop idea planning. I kind of have color theory going on here a little bit. I think it's possible. This will get me through with coaching and editing. As you can see, fill editing calendar. I do a 365 rolling calendar. I'm trying to fill it up through April 2025 right now. If you know you have a book and you're a client, contact me. Anyway, if you know you need me, get on the books now. Then I am in the process of migrating Soul Bard Academy, my coaching programs, to a platform like school. I'm probably leaning into school, not teachable. Just saying. I like school because it actually has a community message board built into it. And I think some of my people would like having it all there instead of two separate places. I'm going to see and we'll find out. Soulbar.exe kind of is part of that migration. And after a copyright battle with somebody, and I won, Writer Soul Reset is going to be back on the planning. What is Writer Soul Reset? This is my virtual retreat that I've been talking about wanting to do for nigh on a year, where people come in and you get like literally some yoga, some tarot, but also like how to make ergonomics better in your office kind of talks. Things like one of the conversations I was having with an occupational therapist and a physical therapist I know. Things that all common office workers should know as basic, like carpal tunnel therapy. Stuff we all could do there in our seats that would just be, you know, hey, it's a sprint, stretch kind of stuff even. So that's why I'm really glad to have this entity back in my life and under my branding control. This, though, has an arrow because I applied for a grant to help with this, not only virtually, but physically become a thing. So I'm kind of in a lull waiting on the grant to see how that goes. Now, moving life, I'm kind of getting good at this moving thing. I already went out and we purchased, like, not cardboard boxes, but, like, heavy totes. Because I've got stuff in here that's highly breakable. Looking at my crystals. Anyway, and we figured, you know, if we're going to spend similar money on cardboard disposable supplies, we might as well spend a little bit more and get stuff we can use as storage in real life and repurpose. So I've already done that. We've already started looking at a couple of places. So these are actively getting worked on. I literally today was working on cleaning upstairs and getting ready to do some packing. We never quite fully unpacked from when we moved in here circa December last year, though, to be honest. It's like we knew. So that's going to be pretty quick to handle. I looked at the calendar, and in the course of 6 weeks, we could pack up the whole house, and that's spending 1 day apiece, 1 day per person living in the house, packing a room, basically. So minor stress. There's a lot of options ahead of us as to where we're moving. We're looking at southern PA and western Maryland is our preference. So I am therefore alongside of doing these daily life things, also going to be finishing the social media split. I split the Myrna Annals off into its own TikTok, and it has its own account to become a YouTube channel to repost the shorts. I just haven't gotten there yet. I'm discussing with a couple of people a redesign of my website. I have a couple of people who are sending me bids, basically, that I'm waiting to come in. They are sadly delayed. Not on my part, on their part. So I wanted to go ahead and make sure that gets taken care of. The book box, I am starting to gather merchandise stuff for, which purchasing it's now on hold, but I'm still getting the lists and the contracts and the whatnots together for it. And I do not know if I'm staying at Ream. It kind of depends on what goes on with my website and whether or not I'm kind of wondering, does the MyrnaAnnals.com get its own membership? You see what I mean? So we shall see. I'm not entirely certain yet. There are a couple of options ahead of us. My website, or my video editor is taking over some of my social media stuff and helping with some of that stuff, hopefully down the road, depending on whether or not I can hire a part-time virtual assistant after we move or not. Because that was supposed to have been part of 2025 start for me. We shall see if that gets delayed. So Everything's on the up and up. Everything's growing. I don't consider what we're doing to look so far ahead a waste of time. I actually need to look about a year ahead because former K-12 teacher. So, branches to these skill trees, huh? Let's go ahead and, well, turn you at least, my dear books, into an Excel spreadsheet skill tree. See you soon. Welcome on back. You guys are looking at a place I've spent way too many of my teaching years. Hello, Excel. You could probably do this in Airtable, Google Sheets. There's a bunch of others out there. I prefer Excel because Microsoft certified through education things. Anyway, so skills tree end of year 2024. So this is going to take me clear through from, as it says, to the end of 2024. In here, what I'll start doing to make my skill trees digital is probably use tabs down here on the sheets and make each of my goals over there a sheet. So I have 4, 2 full plus 2 half credits, 4. So I'm also going to rename my sheets to be my books. Sheet 2 is going to be coaching and editing. Sheet 3, we're going to go with moving and life. And then this one, whoops, sheet 4, other and bonus. We'll keep with that. Okay, so going back to my books, I did say I was going to go ahead and keep this strictly to just looking at a walkthrough of the branches for books 1 through 5 of the Myrna Annals. So a couple of things I'm going to want to do is decide what my headers are going to be in here. I am the kind of person that I'm going to want to know it's all the book numbers, so I'm going to plot that out right quick. I know that in season 1 for book 1 through 5, it's 5 books, followed by the side quests. I actually might be able to put 3 side quests out next year, so 1, 2, 3. Followed by Vitae Langica, which is also 1, 2, 3. And I know I want to start books 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 next year. Yes, that looks weird for the numbering. It'll make sense soon, because at the top, what I'm going to add in my B column here for cell B1, I'm going to put series title, followed by, I can't type, book title. And then I'm a nerd, so I'm going to also want to put in here page numbers, followed by, these will be checkbox options, front matter, back matter, so I know they've been updated, or I'll just put the date they were updated in those categories. I'll adjust my title headers and zoom in and stuff here in a moment. I also want to make sure that I have a checkbox here for Amazon version and then wide version, but I actually need to double that, don't I? Ebook for Amazon, ebook for wide, and you've got that right. Amazon, paper, wide, paper. Now I'm going to go up here to this origin point is technically what it is for my math nerds. It'll select every cell, and if I just double click, it'll resize all the cells to be approximately what's as big as the biggest thing in there. Yeah, I'm going to have to readjust them later, but at least now it's not giving my eyes issues. Speaking of eye issues, same origin point click. I'm going to increase my font size because my eyes are that bad, and then readjust them. That's a little more tolerable. Okay, I'm going to highlight the top row here. I'm going to color code it. I'm going to do the top row here, fill it in yellow because my eyes are bad. And view. Is it going to let me freeze my panes? Yes. I like to go under View, Freeze Panes, and it'll just lock that top row to scroll with everything for me. Google does it too. I forget in Google Docs where to do it, but if you Google search how to freeze panes in Google Sheets, rather, it'll tell you how to do it with a to-do list and, a Google search. So start filling in everything as appropriate. You can do the whole drag and drop down if you wish. I'm just going to actually copy that over down to down there. And drag it through here. Okay. As I'm realizing a tiny error here. I need to bump a pane that way. So where's my home? Insert cells. I want to insert that way. Yay, it did it for me right. Okay. I need season. Season info. Because that'll help. Silly Jenna. Silly Jenna. You've coded databases, woman. You know better. Okay. So now that I kind of have some basic information down, I can really start filling these out for myself, and this will become a much easier goal tracker for me. If you want me to kind of upload this for you, I can. Here with the skill trees, though, this is just info. This is not the skill tree itself. So for my publication path, I like to have all these numbers and checklists and things. Yes, I've been tracking them by hand. I'm just going to update it from here on in the future. Don't look at me, teacher. Anyway, so the other thing here is I need to also start drafting, deciding things like, where am I at? These just got uploaded to Amazon for all of my first 5 books in season 1. I have to go back and review some skills. And I know what they are, i.e. I have not uploaded anything to Draft to Digital or Amazon in months. I might need to make a note off here to the side. Review Sarra Cannon's Publish and Thrive. Also, review uploads. This is where scaffolding comes in. I know I need to review this stuff. I'm not going to be able to go through it without help because, well, knowing my luck, stuff has changed drastically because I've been focusing namely on finishing the drafts and getting them up to Ream Stories as of late. So I'm not exactly relearning platforms, but I'm going to have to allow myself a solid week to finish some of these uploads on the paperback end with the file switches. The ebook, I got a kickback with some errors. I kind of expected it. Tiny adjustments, that kind of thing applies. So you can see also where here would be a good time to denote, as I'm kind of hovering on cell L5, which belongs to book 4. Are you done the edit? Book 4 and 5, they're like almost done the edit. I need to decide, do I want one scene in book 4 or swap it for 2 scenes in book 5 at this point? That's the only thing I need to decide, and a little bit of, bandaging, smooth it out, make it look pretty as if it was always meant to be there kind of editing. It's minor stuff that I really truly need to finish doing. But this would also be a point where I will start making these skill notes, maybe you could call that column, if you wanted, and make it a whole column unto itself. I would even venture, I'm not going to say colored in red, but I'm going to color it in green because I need these things to go. These are my Luigi. You get what I mean? I can't do this as Mario without those things. So you could definitely put things here like maybe you have a coach you want to talk to about something, i.e., some of my marketing stuff. I'm reaching out to one of my marketing coaches and mentors, and we're sitting down and having a discussion before the end of book 5 comes out, or end of season 1 with book 5 comes out. You see where you can start making those notations here, and it's all collected in one spot. Yes, you could choose to track this in an Access style database or a Gantt chart if you wanted it more on a timeline. My timeline, because of that move, is not exactly linear right now for other projects. And I'm quite aware that my coaching, my editing, and my moving are kind of making it to where this is the back burner potentially. I don't like that. But I need to start looking at what skills I need to then be learning as part of that other category as well to fill in when I do have time in between the move. So I would highly, 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 highly suggest to all of you to consider looking at what makes you scared to finish something. Because that's what I'm scaffolding out in my skill tree here. I can't do A until I've done 1. I can't do B until I've done 2. Is kind of where I am with some tiny things, even if it is just because one thing in the user end on the back end changed, or maybe keywords have changed over time. A couple of weeks ago, I was doing keyword research. That was on my paper skill tree. It probably should come on over, and when I start filling in Vitae Elangica here, which runs parallel to these 5 books there, I'm going to have to do a different set of keyword searches for Vitae Elangica because it's similar but not exactly the same, so the keywords won't exactly carry over and work. You get what I mean? So this is where you can really start looking. If you have multiple projects going at one time, you can get a solid bird's eye view of what needs done. This can translate into a Kanban board. This can translate into being your brainstorm if you want to move to Notion or Trello or another program. This could be a solid way for that just works for you. I've seen a lot of my author friends use something similar, and I said, you know what? I used to track standards and scaffold standards for students this way. It's very similar. What info do you have about where you, or in Ben's case with teaching my students, actually are? Where do you, or then my students, actually need to be by X amount of time? What's everything you need to do in between, and how do we prioritize it becomes the visual representation of however you want to lay this out. So you've heard me mention my mentor, and definitely someone who inspires me and someone that I'm extremely grateful for multiple times, Sarra Cannon. First of all, Sarah, thank you for making Heart Breathings a place that it's addicting for all the right reasons. The people who go there are the kindest, sweetest, and really, truly, my fellow admin genuinely only do care about those in the community that show up, and all of you show up and you rock, and just thank you. Sarah's HB90 program is open for the next quarter. It'd be the last time this year, I think. Yeah, it'll be the last time this year because we're about to wrap Q3 at the end of this month, aren't we? So do feel welcome to check out the link in the description box below. Sarah, thank you so much. Thank you. HB90 literally taught me that I can do for my business what I could do for my what I used to do for my students. That a lot of those skills that I already have, and some of you who have taken the course and came from other walks of life and career probably saying, yeah, a lot of the skills I had got tied together right into a program, and it took everything I already knew and just amplified it more in a better way. And if you're looking for a way to get your business off the ground that makes you think in terms of stuff like this, join us. Above all, take care of yourself. You've always been worth it.